Hello everyone. Just before I begin, I just want to elaborate on the fact that this will be a very controversial video since I'll be critiquing another creator in the TS community. I don't fully have their consent to talk about their content in this video, but after all, the stuff that I've seen in the past weeks alone drove me to make this video. So without further ado, welcome to one of the first channel review video. Now, before you bash me into a corner by saying, and I quote, "Hey, if you are going to be reviewing/critiquing someone, shouldn't you have their consent?" And yes, that's a valid point. Hence the reason I was planning to do someone more humble, such as Ivan, AST, or Velis, but not the person in question. All of that aside, this will be a generous review of the channel TextWars. Before I begin talking about him, here are some of the things that I will be mentioning in this video. Number 1, starting point, which will focus on when he starts. 2, general content. 3, the quality of his content. 4, is that content trend riding/innovative? And 5 will be my personal opinions. Now hear me out. I know that the last one might seem controversial, but to get my point across as someone who also creates texting story content, so please take this with a grain of salt since I know that everyone has their own opinion on the matter. So let's begin with the first point, which is so as of me recording this video, his oldest and still public video is OP Deku Part 1. The ship is Deku X Nejire. Now, this is just my speculation, but I'm assuming that he started his channel off around the same time as the OP, Betrayed, Glow Up, and other adjectives that can be used to describe Izuku was blowing up, since after this video, almost the entirety of his video catalog at the time was filled to the brim with these videos. Just to name a few: Transfer Deku, Villain Deku, etc. Now, I wouldn't say that this is the part where I turned my eye away from his content, since I remember myself watching one of his series. I don't fully recall what the series is, but back then it was very entertaining, but I stopped due to having my own work at the time, which is on this channel, and university work. But generally speaking, his videos are good at the beginning since I can vouch for it, but I can't say that for the rest of his content. In general, he started off in my book as one of the most respected creators on the platform. At the time, alongside big names such as Cast TS and AST. But things doesn't last, and I'll explain that later on in the video. But let's move on to the next thing, which is okay then, where do I begin? Well, for starters, he mainly do TS like everyone else. But if my eyesight didn't lie to me back when God knows when, he used to do edits, but one day he just stopped all of a sudden. Not that I'm sad or anything, because his edits are abysmal in my opinion. No offense to you, by the way. But it's questionable. The thing that he used to post is like general anime edits, but I feel like it could have gone a longer way if he put effort into it. But as it stands right now, it's kind of dry, bland. It's lack the emotion that he used to put into his videos. Maybe it's also the reason why he stopped doing it after 4 videos. Now that's out of the way, we can finally move on to for quality. I honestly don't know where to begin, since like I stated before, I really respected his content back then, but God knows what happened to it after that point, since he did a complete 180 on the entire ordeal. To back up my claim, his video after the point that I had already mentioned earlier are either based on a trend or are derived from another series by other content creators. I don't know what happened or what he's smoking behind the scenes when he making his videos, But basically, after the forced relationship series ended, everything after that has been abysmal. Not in terms like of his general series idea, but like in general it's abysmal. For starters, back then during the time that forced relationship series ended, Demon Slayer had started to become popular in the community. So we have Moonbreezer Deku, which at the end of the day is just no power balance. So it boils down to one of the most OP breath styles being utilized at the beginning of the story with no balancing. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you that it get better from here, because it got worse. Not to mention that his series before this is Glow Up Deku, which a reminder to all of you that this is his second one so far. I'm not going too hard on him for now, but after that we enter the realm of Elemental God and Infinite Dragon God, which in it of itself is not a bad thing. It's just a play on word for the OP genre, which he has done before. Now, if memory serves me correctly on this one, around a year ago, someone did an Izuku x Aizawa's daughter and it blew up. And guess what the next series after Betray Glow Up Deku is? Yup, it's Izuku x Aizawa's daughter. Who would have thought? Then after that, there's a few series that is not up to par with his original ones. Well, at least to my standards at least. But then we have Sheeted Glow Up Deku. I swear to God, this is the third or fourth time that he have tapped into the glow up trend in just 1 year alone. You want to know how bad that is? First off, you have to understand that 3 series following the same format in terms of TS content is kind of dumb, which is why I regarded myself as one of the worst TS creators, since I have a lot of series that play off the same themes. Case in point, my Arc Knight Izuku and Azure Lane Izuku, both of which having similar premise of Izuku having command over some kind of crew. For Arc Knight, it's the operators, and for Azure Lane, it's the ship girls. But there's still a lot of things that is different in those set series. Now, you might be saying, if you think that you have worse content than him, why are you making a video criticizing him? That's because I have my own dignity. I'm not gonna be going over every single series that he have made, since I'll be putting that up on the screen later on. And now we go to the fuckfest that is him going on a break. I'm not going to say that everything goes downhill, but aside from the few examples that I'm giving you, after he comes back, it's a total disaster. Now, I want you to do something for me. Close your eyes, have a clear mind now. Imagine this, if you put Madara in the world of Bleach. And yes, this is one of his series, but so yeah. So before you do anything, just imagine that for a second. Good? Okay. Now, let's step back to reality. Okay. In my honest opinion, Madara would get his ass cheek slapped. But I digress. It's not the worst thing that can happen though. The series before that is Dark Sun Breezer Izuku, which is just Moon Breezer if you squint at it and change a few things. Then after that, it's either the same trope over and over again, or just a play on words with one of his existing IP. He's just trend hopping at this point, which perfectly segues me into... Now, I'll try my best not to be biased at all, even though I used to watch him in the past and stopped due to my own circumstances, like I explained before, working on my own channel and attending university. But for the love of Christ, I have seen nothing from him that indicate a working brain in the past year. Now, you might be saying that, hey, I'm a little bit too mean here, or I'm too harsh on him, which in reality, I am. But you can't just sit there and lie to me and say that there's actually innovative ideas when there's 4 Demon Slayer stories, 4 OP stories, 2 or 3 glow-ups, and 2 betrayals, and I'm not even counting every single trend that he has done. and this is from his entire channel lifespan. Look, I know that ideas are very hard to come by, and original ideas are the hardest, but please, for the love of fucking God, show me some athleticism. This is basically like you signing up for a 100-meter dash, and then on the day of the run, you bought, something along the line of a hoverboard or an M1 or Ferrari, and the others are just running as if their life depends on it. That's not called innovative, that's just copy and pasting. Basically, if you put that in simple terms, that is basically starting life off in like the first class. And to add insult to injury, some of the series ideas aren't even yours. Well, how do I put this lightly? But the ideas for your trends aren't even yours. I said before and I'll say it again. Those that have followed the trend before in the past, I have no respect for. But those that took it and turned it into something new with a new branch, then I have respect for them. And I don't see that in him. In his videos. It's basically the same trope repeated over and over and over again. And lastly, we can finally move on to first off, let's start with something that has been floating around recently. I remember back in the day when I used to upload videos at 1x speed, which rounds up to almost 1 hour to 2 hours in video length. Then I changed it to 2x speed on the app and cut off one page from Google Docs. So at the end, it turns out to be 30 to 40 minutes. Personally, I think I could do better, but I don't have enough time to create something longer without prolonging my upload schedule. I think most of you already have known this, but in order for me to upload once a day, I basically have to spend like more than 4 hours on Google Docs, 2 hours on the app itself, 1 hour for it to generate in the TS app, and another hour for it to generate with the intro and outro, and about like 20 minutes to upload. Yeah, it's not gonna be healthy for my channel in the long run, which would in turn one video every 2 days. Anyways, to continue on with that point, I'm gonna bring up an example that I used with a friend. It took him 9 seconds, 9 fucking seconds to write something that is not even a sentence long in Google Docs on base font and base settings. You know how bad that is? Remember when people used to bash me when I used to write essays, pages worth of dialogue that took up like 1 minute of the video? And he's doing that, but worse. And you might be thinking, maybe it's 9 seconds in 2x speed. Oh no, my dear friends, you can check it for yourself. I think it's in copy breezing Izuku or something. There's around the 1 minute and like 15 something seconds, you can check it. It's around 9 seconds on 1x speed on the app, as in like the TextingStory app. It's, really bad, to be honest. Also, while we're on the topic of video lengths, back then his videos used to last around 20 to 30 minutes. Actually, it's practically around 10 to 30 minutes. I'm just being generous here. And 40 minutes, and if it's a one shot at 2x speed, by the way. And I remember that he will be increasing the video lengths, which implies that he will be making videos longer. It also would imply that he will be putting a lot more effort into making his videos, but instead he just changed the settings from 2x to 1x. You don't have to even try to look up when he set it, because if memory serves me correctly, he just deleted it immediately after the backlash. But hey, I digress. But if you still don't believe me, you can look at his recent videos from back then and compare to the speed to the recent videos. And you don't even have to go that far back. Currently, as of me writing this video, his latest video is on 1x speed. You can go back to a series that is called Dragon Emperor Izuku X Harem, and that is on 2x speed. There is no reason for him to change, and I believe that he also backpedaled a bit. If you go back even further to his One Piece Deku series, the ship is Deku X Robin, by the way. the series is clearly on 1x speed, so either someone called him out during the time that it took me to make this video, or he have a change of heart, which I don't think he has, but I'm just gonna assume that he did have a change of heart. That's the reason why he, changed, but I digress. Second, his tags. I'm not going to go back to when he first started out, since I don't think that he knows how to mess with the tags from back then. So I'm taking the latest video, as of me writing this video of course, which is OP One for All and All for One Deku Part 3. Dear God, reading this makes me want to regurgitate my lunch. Anyways, just to take a clear look at his tags, at first it seemed normal, right? Things related to MHA, but then you get to the ones at the back. Hashtag One Piece, hashtag gaming, hashtag BTS, hashtag BTS Army, hashtag songs, hashtag motivational, hashtag songs. If I recall correctly, in that video, there's none of these things. That the closest thing that resembles to a song is his typing speed to a sad tune. And this is just one example. Just take a look at the video. Can you explain to me where's the BTS and BTS Army one? Can you explain to me where's the motivational one? That is just some example I'm just giving you as I've said more. Now, before you say that I can also do this, that is my content after all. And to that I say, yes, I can do that. No one is stopping me. But it's scummy. Like, it's scummy as hell. Like, put as it in like a different light. If I were to do that and a larger content creator, let's per se Ivan, called me out on it, I'll get called out immediately. Point being, he is exploiting the tag system to gain more views, which is working quite well, but let's be honest, his channel is 10 times larger than mine and he's been around for longer, and his upload consistency has been more, has been better than mine. But my point still stands. He's still exploiting something in the YouTube algorithm to gain more traction, which shouldn't be, approved, or shouldn't be done. Then we go on to the third part, AI art. Now, I had to admit that I was also thinking of using one, but my inner artist inside me was screaming in agony, so I commissioned one of my friends for an upcoming project. Look, I understand that some art is not up to your liking, and you may prefer the AI art than regular art. But that doesn't stray away from the fact that you are using a software that practically steals art from artists to use it as learning material, then to mass produce it. An example of AI that actually have effort put into it is the AI voice generation. Don't get me wrong, that still is shady as hell, but at least there's effort into it. This one, I just see nothing. And art without a soul is art, is not art. Soul, in this case, is the artist's will to create said art. But you might say that I also use art that is not commissioned by me. To be honest, I don't have a solid argument to that. Art itself is a very touchy subject, and with no laws and regulations on AI art, I'm not comfortable in using it or supporting anyone using it. But hey, that's just my opinion on that matter. Now then, we can finally move on to the fourth and final point of this section. And I am praying to God that this is actually the final point that I have to make on this subject and I don't have to edit things in later. So, stolen content. Disclaimer, please take this entire section with a huge grain of salt, actually a mountain of salt if you will. So, this information has been passed down on to me by said creators that have been stolen from, but since there's no screenshot of said videos that have been stolen, since back then nobody thought that it was a big deal that I will be making a video of this, so nobody bothered to take a video of it. So please take this with a grain of salt. Now then, if you're a new watcher of TextWars, you probably don't know this. Even I myself was told by Ivan, here's the code open just now via Discord messages and call. So here's a quick rundown for all of you. that have just come into this space. TextWars used to support, I used to very lightly here, a channel called Indian TS, and he quote unquote used to steal content back in the day when he started out around 2021. He also have a lot of sub channels. Not sure if TextWars had them or not, but let's just say he has, since he openly support Indian TS and what he did. And those also have stolen videos and ideas. A lot of content creators back then called him out on this bullshit and mockery, but both of them turned a blind eye to it. But in the end, they both of them caved in due to the pressure, since people started to catch on. And one of the videos that they stole is becomes Veli's most popular videos. To summarize the entire thing, he openly supports and gives shout out to someone that blatantly steals content from other creators, then acts as if he doesn't know what's going on. Basically, a criminal who committed a felony, but when he's summoned to court, he just say, "I don't know." Yeah, that's basically the entire summary of the plot. To end this video, you as a large creator don't have the authority to dictate the content that is produced in the same genre, but please have some dignity. Even I myself, as a smaller creator, when I have serious idea that was inspired by a creator, I texted them for permission. Not to mention, if I were to copy someone, I'll get bombarded by hate, and since I can be attacked from all sides, from VTuber fans which I use for my one shot, and the TS fans that might say that I copy from other creators, and also from other creators calling me out. If I don't credit them, what is gonna happen? If I don't use the correct tags, what is gonna happen? You have a channel that is currently 10 times larger than mine, but your brain function is somewhat of an avocado, and the audacity and common sense of an acorn or a kindergarten that thinks that they can do whatever they want with because they have large numbers alone. I'm not going to say that ego is way up your ass, but boy, people that are watching you now aren't watching you because of the content, but the ships. I know that this community is on its last legs, and I'm also doing this for fun. But the pain, the fun, the sleepless nights when I used to write the stories 24/7 is painful to see someone who have a larger fan following throwing everything out of the window to create one of the most abysmal shits. It's just sad. Truth be told, a channel that has only 2,000 followers or subscribers in this case have a much more brighter future than you. You know how sad that is? I know that you won't be seeing this video, and I know that you don't care. The reason I know that you don't care because if you do, you would have changed this a long time ago. And if you're seeing this, please fix the fucking content. You're getting views, true, yet, but you're diluting everything in this community that has ever touched. Anyways, that's enough from me. I feel like I have stated my point on his content and his channel alone. I'll leave my morals out of this video, since if I get into that, this video is gonna be an hour long, since the reason that he changed the video to be 1 to 2 hours long so that he can potentially get more AdSense when he quote unquote get monetized again. Trust me, I know your game, buddy. Well then, if I were to rate his channel with an overall score, I'll give it a 7. If you really want to dilute your brain to watch God knows what, and I'll give it a 1. For someone who used to watch him and is flabbergasted by what he has become now. I rest my case, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Hi, so Future Genru here. A lot of things had happened during the time that it took me to make this video, so I thought that I'd pop in at the end for a quick overview. So by the time I'm recording this, TextWars got his monetization back, which is not a bad thing, but I do hope that he keeps his standards moving forward. And I think most of his videos are now at 2x speed, from what I can tell at least. But take my word with a grain of salt, since it might be on 3x speed and I'm just deaf, or it's just still on 1x speed. Anyways, You might be wondering if all of my points that I have presented in this video are still valid or not, and I'm glad to say that over half of them are. Going back to glow up Deku again and using the tag system to add to that, he still uses AI art for his thumbnails. So I think that all of my points still stands. Anyhow, just disregard my point on the video speed and the monetization. That will be all, and I'll see you soon.